My mentor recently said to me, don't forget your skills. Don't forget your skills. You know how to strategize. You were the CEO of a large organization. You make sure you dedicate time to strategize. And it sunk in for me and kind of clicked for me that we go through phases and waves in our business sometimes. And I'm very good at following through on reflecting and making a plan, but I also go through phases where I'm a little bit like, oh, it's going to be fine. And I can relax and I can just like follow my process. And these are excuses. These are excuses, honestly, and I'm sharing that with you because I want you to, one, know that even though strategizing comes quite naturally to me, doing it for myself and my own business really requires me to dedicate time to it. And even though I have my CEO days and I reflect at the end of the month, sometimes I just kind of skip over it. Skip over it or say, I can just take up a bit more space here. And usually it's rooted at a little bit of just some sprinkles of dust of just like, do I want to go there right now? Do I want to do this right now? Like there was a little bit of questioning that's going on sometimes. And I think, honestly, it's because I'm human. I'm not perfect. I take imperfect action. And sometimes I need the reminders, just like you may hear something that I share and see it as a reminder. And we can't forget our skills. We can't forget our skills. And strategizing is certainly a skill. And launching things is a skill. But what I've realized as I sort of reflected on March, what worked and what didn't, and also Q1 on what worked and what didn't. First of all, so much incredible things happened, so much incredible growth happened. And I started off the year in Q1 laying such a monumental foundation and putting so many sales on the books for me that my mind was kind of blown. And I feel like I've been sort of rolling with that and being like, oh my God, that's incredible. And I get to just be in this space right now and enjoy it. And I have also while still being in Tulum. But I also realized that there was some things that, as I reflected on, I had stopped doing that could have maybe continued the growth to be ongoing or like on an upward trajectory. But I didn't. I kind of just like went into a bit more of a flow and floating mode, which felt really good for me and was really fun. But now it's time to get back to the strategizing. And through that reflection and through the strategizing, a few things became clear. One is that I'm really excited to launch something I'm super excited about, which is a incredible masterclass with new, never publicly or in a masterclass shared strategies and a blueprint on how to create and how to do a live signature program launch so you can have your first 5-figure launch. This is in addition to my signature program launched, or an add-on, if you will. And it was inspired by a client asking me, actually, that is a strategic mastermind client, and I had her go through the curriculum and launched, and she had some questions around launching a signature program. And I said, don't worry, I am going to help you create a more custom approach to launching your signature program. This is not something I cover in launch, because launched, I kept very straightforward on one program. Whereas when I launched signature program and when I help create custom launch strategies for my clients for their signature programs or high ticket programs, I actually have a full launch sequence or blueprint that I follow and process that I follow that allows you to get qualified leads for your signature program. And it's actually multiple phases and there's multiple parts to it. It's still fun. It's still a vibe. The foundations of launch still go in, but it's much more encompassing. And up until now, you only had access to this type of information when you were in my private programs, that's one-to-one, or my strategic mastermind. And so as I reflected, I said, don't forget your skills. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. These are the conversations I have all the time. I've recently helped multiple clients set this up who all ended up welcoming clients into their signature programs, which was so exciting. And now I'm ready to bring that to you. So sitting down and strategizing, sitting down and reflecting, and then looking at that helped me now lay out what I want April to look like, what I'm going to bring to you throughout the month, which is a paid masterclass. And I'm super, super excited about it. And if you want to know more about it, or you want to get an exclusive link to a pre-sale at an epic price, you can send me a DM at Theresa Lambert Coaching, and I will send you a link and I will share. But that was one. Now, the other thing I realized as I was reflecting was that because I wasn't doing like a proper, I say proper, because I wasn't following a formal launch process or launching a program, specifically not through March, I kind of became a little floaty. I already said that. And what I noticed is that I stopped sharing about my programs and services consistently. I used to share about those at least once a day, but really more, probably 2 to 3 times a day in multiple different spaces. That's on different social platforms and through my email lists. And I stopped doing that. And part of that is when I don't have a strategy or a plan going into the month that's very specific, or if it's not leading to something, I found myself feeling a little more free-flowing. So what I'm doing now as I'm sharing that is actually sitting down and being like, okay, one, we have this masterclass coming up. So I'm going to be launching that and the focus is going to be there. But simultaneously as well, I said to myself, okay, it's time to make sure that every day through my stories on Instagram or through my email list, on my other social channels, I'm going to create opportunities for people to hear about my programs and services and get back into a consistency. And I'm going to also work on opportunities and assets and simple tools that I can pull in to help me share it in really easy ways. So there's really not going to be any excuses. And this is really key so that we can make sure that the content we share and then the offers we share are really relevant to each other. And so that's another important aspect that I've realized through the strategizing time. Okay. And the last thing that came in for me that I was like, this kind of also caused me some procrastination and overthinking and doubt was this whole Reels challenge that I decided to opt into, doing a reel every day for 365 days. And again, sharing the content isn't really the problem because I have so much content that I want to share with you. But what I found really is that it caused me to have to spend so much time and energy thinking about the creatives of a reel every day and revamping some of my carousel posts, some of the things that I'm already having that's already ready to go. And that's a lot of energy that is going out. And because it was quite energy consuming, it then caused some procrastination on other things for me, So the thing is, the way I share content, the type of content I share, the type of post I share for the content, whether it's a still image or a reel or carousel post or quote square, there's a strategy behind that. And I have used that strategy with my content for years, and it's produced really, really great results. It's allowed me to make sales through my content, so have my content convert. It's allowed me to get people engaging and then ultimately starting beautiful conversations in my DMs. And through the reels, I have found that really changing. And so there was so much of my focus and attention on like creating this reel that it took away the intention from what am I sharing with that content? What's the takeaway? What's the engagement I like to have? How do I want people to really be able to consume this information so that it can help them build their businesses? And so because I spend so much time having a strategy around the specific types of posts I use for what kind of content and how I deliver that, it sort of caused a disconnect. And so it's almost like I kind of was had to revamp my strategy with my content and the type of posts for my content that goes with what I teach, which ultimately is how to create, how to build a scalable, profitable, and sustainable six-figure business online. And so I realized for me, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for that because it doesn't really feel right for me in terms of how I desire to share my content, the type. I don't really feel it lands the same, and I don't get the same results in terms of engagement, in terms of posts saved, in terms of people really realizing the value that is packed in this piece of content, which is pretty much a micro masterclass with every single content piece that I share other than my story posts. So as I've strategized, as I sat down and made time to strategize, I realized all these things. I realized all these pieces. I created all this awareness. And with this awareness, it now allows me to move forward differently, to move forward saying, okay, one, I'm going to launch something because I want to do a launch, and it's such a beautiful way. And I really believe teaching you how to do a live signature program launch is so valuable to so many of you, so that you can have a process that you can adapt to you, because I'm going to give you options on each of the stages while helping you fill your pipeline with qualified leads again and again and again. And you may choose to have a launch like that once a quarter. You might do it every couple of months. Like, it can be up to you, but it'll really give you the foundation and the understanding of launching. This is really fun for me, and I can bring that to you at a affordable price. This is going to be a low ticket offer that I'm going to be having for this launch, so that you're going to have a blueprint to help you have 5-figure launches in your business, because it's a vibe and you'll love it. And I believe that lead gen has got to be part of your launch process for your signature programs. So it's not just launching your signature programs, but it's actually a strategic sandwich, I want to say. It's stacking a couple of different strategies on top of each other that all work together harmoniously to help you fill your programs. So that's fun for me. Two, with the decisions I've made and with the strategizing time with what I'm sharing, I'm going to be more focused. I'm going to be able to free up some more time for myself, because I've also brought in someone to help me with my social media, and that's going to be amazing with some of the content that's coming, and prepare for this masterclass and really show up to do some of the things that I'm excited about doing, which is sharing incredible content on my Instagram, doing the weekly Thursday riffs, recording my podcast, delivering this masterclass, and also sharing about the ways that you can work with me more regularly. Again, emailing my email list again on Tuesdays, fallen off on that one, but I always send out juicy content there. So again, the strategizing time gives me focus. It will hold me as I now look at what's coming out and what do I want to do and what do I share. It allows me to get really focused and specific, to be really intentional with how I show up, which frees up my time again, to do other things, not just for the business, but also for me personally. Whereas when we don't have the strategizing time, or when we do things without a strategy behind them, where it's like, oh, I'm doing that, but I'm not really sure why I'm doing that, or I'm doing these lives, but I'm not really sure why I'm actually going live, or I'm doing these reels, but I'm not actually sure why I'm doing these reels. And when we do these things, but we don't really know how they tie into the bigger picture, if there's no strategy on what we want those actions to ultimately encourage our audience to do, then really we're taking a lot of action and we're doing a lot of things that kind of go nowhere. And it starts to become this spaghetti throwing wall thing that's, again, time consuming, but doesn't lead anywhere. And it can feel like we're being productive because you might be doing a lot of things, but not really doing things that move the needle forward. So taking time to actually sit down and strategize, to reflect, and then to map out what's coming up in April, and even like the next, looking at the next, not just 30 days, but looking at the next 90 to 120 days and saying, actually make it 90 days. The next 90 days are great. That's the next 3 months, Q2. What's coming up for you? What offers are you excited about? What would you like to launch? Is there a vacation coming up? Is there a time where you're going to be doing something else? I know that in May, I want to do a little bit more of exploring through Mexico. And I'm also going to be heading home and getting ready to do another really big road trip through the country. So I'm excited to share more about that, but there's things that are coming up. So for me, it's really important now to think about, okay, what would I like to do as I'm heading into April? And I was like, boom, I'd like to have this masterclass because I think it's such a elemental and foundational piece, and it'll rock your world if you come and join me, to help you have these incredible live launches for your signature programs. So I'm going to do a launch for that. I'm going to run this masterclass. I know that I'm continuing to want to welcome clients into my mastermind space, Strategic, which I'm super excited about. And also I am looking ahead and I can say, okay, I'm going to have space open for one-to-one clients to come in, 1 to 2 in April. And then in May, and like from the middle of May to the middle of June, there isn't going to be an opening for one-to-one spaces for a new client to come in, but then again at the end of June. So by even knowing that, my own calendar, what's coming, what I'm launching, to strategize now with this information allows me to organize myself and do actions that support me, that support my life, that continue to help me to grow my business, but that also allow me to not feel like I'm stretched or stressed or I'm overpacking my schedule, and really allow me to focus on the things that are important to move the needle forward in my business. So the strategizing time and then the strategy we create becomes this way of holding us. And I talk about that a lot, right? This is the masculine structure, and the strategy allows you to make the plan that says, here's what you're going to do, here's how you're going to show up, here's what happens when. And then really what is left to do is you implementing and integrating and doing the thing. You just got to do it, but the thinking goes away, the wondering goes away, oh, what am I going to do when, what I'm going to post when, it all goes away, because now you're like, okay, here's the focus, here's the offers that I want things to lead to, here is what I'm going to talk about that will activate the client that this offer is for, the problem that this solves for the client. And it just makes everything else easier. It makes everything else easier so that whatever happens in your life has space to be exactly that, whether you want to play more and be outside more, or vacation, or take long weekends, or, now that it starts to get warm for the Northern Hemisphere slowly on weekends, right? Now that it's spring, it really allows you to do things differently. And that to me is so important, because it holds me, it holds you. And when I feel that way, when I feel held, when I feel a safety and a security through the plan, it really establishes a certainty that I'm moving in the right direction. It fuels my confidence so I can show up and talk about what I am talking about with clarity and confidence, and so will you. And it really, when I'm in this lean back, executing energy where I'm like, yeah, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, things flow, and my creative energy actually is more activated because my feminine, the creative, feels held. I can lean back and into that masculine structure, and that feels good. It feels good, and it feels expansive, and it feels spacious, and it feels light, and it takes all the BS stories away because I trust it and I show up for it. So take time to strategize, take time to reflect. If you need support with reflecting, I have a workbook. Send me a message at Theresa Lambert Coaching on my Instagram and let me know, or comment below this video if you're watching it on YouTube, and we can get in touch and we can get this reflection workbook sent to you. If you would like a business audit done, if you would like support from me to look at your business and help you identify 3 areas that can help you refine so you can scale your business to 6 figures, that's an option. I have free business audits available. Again, DM me at Theresa Lambert Coaching. You want the pre-sale deal on this masterclass coming up? It's like epic. It'll be less than $50. So it's super, super affordable. DM me at Theresa Lambert Coaching and I will send you the link for the pre-sale. And I can share a little bit more of information of what's included, but really, you just want to come. I mean, if you want to learn how to live launch your signature program and start having 5-figure launches, just come. Just come. It'll probably be one of the best investments you're going to make in your business growth in 2023. There, I said it. Okay. See that confidence? See that certainty? This comes from strategizing. Now, this is what I do. Of course, I'm a strategist. So I love strategizing, and I love strategizing for you, and I love strategizing for my clients. And I love actually strategizing for me, but I needed this reminder to not forget my skills for myself. I needed this reminder to put my own strategy hat on and say, okay, time to strategize again. And here is why. And to also say, damn, I'm going to make some pivots. I'm going to make some changes. I really wanted to do this real thing for 365 days, but it is not serving me. And it was really so I could learn from it. And what I've learned from it, honestly, is that it's not for me to be posting reels every single day. And I also really value a 24-hour social media break every single week, which for me is Sundays, my sacred Sunday. So I'm excited to get that back because I'm not going to be continuing it, but I'll still be posting probably 5-6 reels a week. I mean, depending on the week. I'll mix up carousels again and other things, and who knows, but I'm going to take that pressure off, because it wasn't conducive, it wasn't working for me. And the content I have coming is pure gold. And that to me has a strategy, and I'm going to follow the strategy that has worked for me for the last couple of years. So instead of changing up the way I'm doing things here, or almost feels like breaking what's not broken, I know what works for me. I know the strategy. I gave it a shot for over 40 days. I did the Reels challenge, and now I can honestly say, you know what, heads up to every single person who's going to do this for 365 days. I think you're amazing. It's not for me at this stage. It's not for me. I can see how it's valuable for other people, but it's not for me. I own that. I get to change my mind. So I am going to hold compassion and not judge myself for saying I'm not going to continue to do it, and know that what I've got coming is amazing, and this is me honoring me, and to trust the strategy that I have in place for my content, the way I share my content, and what I do, and say, yep, this is working for me. And that's the beauty of knowing and trusting the strategies that you have, and a strategy for your business and a strategy how you do things gets to be as unique as you. So even in my upcoming masterclass, there's going to be space for you to bring you into that process, which is why I'm so excited to share that. And that is how I do all strategy. It's got to be in alignment with you. It's got to work for you. And it's got to be a strategy that you feel good with. And if posting a reel every day doesn't feel good for you, maybe you just want to post a reel 5 days a week, then that is fantastic. And if you want to mix it up between reels and carousels and quote squares and still images like I like to do, because it helps me really tell my brand story, it helps me deliver the value, it helps me show you what I do and how I do it and how you can do it too, and how I help you solve problems so you can scale your business to 6 figures, so you can make it more profitable, so you can make it more sustainable, then I have to honor my word and be in integrity with that. So that is what I'm going to do. And sometimes that's hard. So yeah, my ego is a little hurt, but we're going to get over it. I'm human. I love you. Taking time to strategize is so, so essential. And if you are wanting to feel amazing while you're on this journey and make it and continue to be persistent and work towards your growth, having it feel fun and amazing and good for you is so, 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 so key, because growth isn't just straight up. It is really like up and down, refine, implement, integrate, refine, implement, integrate, and the growth comes, but you have to stay committed to it no matter what, which is why having it feel good and it being fun is so important. And that is exactly at the core of why making time and taking the time to strategize is so key. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to dive into next week's episode. I am going to be talking about something really, really juicy for you next week, which is the signature program launch. Have the most epic day, and I will talk to you all soon.